How's everybody doing out there? Thank you so much for joining us. We're in the calm room, the quiet room. It's about to get juicy though, trust. I've been looking forward to this for so long because I'm blessed to know this woman both professionally and personally, and I just feel like every time I see her, she is the most put together woman in any room, and also exuding confidence, but calm confidence, somebody that you know that you can learn from. Please welcome my friend, Lala Anthony.
So cool. Hey, everybody. This is so cool. Really cool.
It's a big room, though.
It is a big room.
So,
How you guys feeling out there, by the way? Everybody okay? It's been some good stuff happening on this stage.
well, now one thing about Lala that I'm sure you guys all know is she is the queen of the slash. And I don't mean peekaboo dresses. I mean that she is mother slash wife slash fashion entrepreneur slash cosmetics entrepreneur with motives, and actress slash reality TV star. I could just keep on going. I'm running out of breath. 300 jobs.
Right.
And now also author. Oh, and very cute, yes, as you pointed out. And also author. I really wanted to talk to you, Lala, about this book that you put out this year, The Love Playbook. New York Times bestseller, by the way. No big deal. Please give it up. You guys have this book?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey.
So when I was reading this, I felt like I already knew you, but not. I realized reading it that there was so much that I didn't know,
Right.
and it was so personal. You already open up your life to reality TV on Lala's Full Court Life on VH1. Do you guys watch that?
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
So what motivated you to open up even more in the Love Playbook?
Well, I just found out that so many people out there, don't have a great circle of friends or great family to go to for advice, especially young women. So I was really concerned with where are young women getting their advice from. It can't just be from watching crazy reality shows, which we all love, but you don't want to learn lessons from that. You just want to watch it for entertainment. So I thought the book would just be a perfect platform for me to give advice to women and young women out there who were trying to navigate through life. Like, life is difficult, and it will hit you with some real ups and downs, and I just wanted to provide some tools to kind of get through that stuff.
The one thing, though, I'm sure a lot of you guys have read the book. You definitely open up about a lot of things that, on the one hand, maybe you would think someone like Lala, how can I relate to her life because she has it all? But in order to get there, she had to go through the same bad breakups that we all did, and the same sort of mistakes where you put maybe a man before your career.
Right.
And luckily, you're able to fix that and go back.
Right.
I wanted to ask you about what were the hardest things to share in the process of writing this book?
Well, I didn't really come across hard things because I wanted to share my experiences to let people know, like, I get it, I understand. I was a girl that my mom had me when she was growing up in the Marcy Projects. Like, I've come from nothing, and I've really, made a successful life for myself, but nobody handed it to me. It took a lot of hard work and dedication to get to where I'm at, and I just want to be an inspiration to people to know that you can do it too. So by opening up about, mistakes I made in my career, in my life, and in love, was actually like therapy to me as well, to talk about it and to be able to help someone else out there learn from my mistakes. Because my mom used to always say, you don't have to make all the mistakes yourself. You should learn from other people's mistakes. She's like, La, you don't have to make every single mistake to learn from it. So if people can read my book or get to know me and learn from some of my mistakes and not have to go through those things, then I feel like it's a win.
And then when it comes to other things, even things that, I didn't really know how hard it was for you to deal with your pregnancy.
Right.
We kind of see a lot of celebrities and people who are in the industry breeze through these sort of huge life-changing moments. But Lala shares that it was a very, very tough pregnancy, and that she was miserable most of the time.
Yeah, I was.
So were those things that, like, even when you're writing about them, you know, did it bring up a whole bunch of memories?
Well, it just brings up the truth, the reality, like celebrity or not. Like, we go through real things. We have real problems. You know, I had a horrible pregnancy. I cried every day. Like, I'm a real person at the end of the day. So just because I'm a person that people know and, you know, a person that, you know, is popular in a sense doesn't mean I don't go through some of the same things. And I think that's what people love about me and really feel about me is a relatable factor. Like, she's someone I can relate to. And I always want to keep that. I never want to get to the point where I feel that detached from people that they can't relate to me. So yeah, throwing up every day while you're pregnant, that's something people can relate to.
Absolutely.
And that was me.
Yeah. I mean, even Kate Middleton, so
Right.
she's the princess of England.
Exactly.
Is going through exactly what you went
Yeah.
through. I think there's a term for it.
Hyperemesis.
Okay.
It's a term for extreme morning sickness.
It sounds horrible.
It was hard.
But aside from that, are there any things that even when you are doing the reality show or writing the book that you set aside mentally as like things you will not cover or
Well-
things that you just want to keep to yourself?
Well, you know, I like to keep my marriage to myself. I don't want to expose my relationship on television. And, you know, my husband, he's a basketball player for the New York Knicks. And, you know, that's his job. He's here to be great for New York, be a great player. He didn't sign up to be on a reality show just because I'm doing that. You know, and people look at that like, well, why is he never on the show? Well, Melo has a job to do. He's trying to win a championship for New York City. Like, the last thing he wants to do is, you know, be on my reality show. But I
Right.
like that we keep it separate in that sense because that's something that's very sacred to me and that, you know, I feel like when you expose too much, that's when problems happen. And you see it a lot in reality shows and people's relationships. So we've managed to not
Yeah.
fall into that curse.
I mean, if you want to see Mello, you can certainly find him. It's not like he's hiding. He
Yeah.
definitely has a very public job. But, you know, was there a learning curve to get to that sort of Zen place or to get to that stability? You know, were there times early on when you were still a very public person on TV, also as an actress, but earlier in the relationship where you guys kind of had to make a game plan?
Yeah, of course. Still do. Still, it's always a game plan. I always say if anyone tells you their relationship is perfect, they're lying to you. They're not your friend. They're lying to you. Relationships are hard. Marriage is hard, and no one ever wants to talk about the real stuff,
Yeah.
man. It's hard. It's really difficult. And, you know, when you have two people with careers and trying to balance that and be great parents and be great partners, yes, it's challenging. Do we make it work? Yes, we do, but not without bumps and bruises along the way, and drives me crazy sometimes. You know, it's just what it is. So I like to be honest with people and not paint a false picture of what it really is
Right.
like. You know, it's a challenge, but we love each other. We've been together for 11 years now, and we're making it work.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, though, about you guys as a family unit is that unlike a lot of people who are sort of stuck in one circle, more than anybody, I think, you guys are universally embraced and loved in so many different circles, whether it's sports, also with music. I mean, I know that if there's like a big music event happening in hip hop or anywhere, the Anthony's are going to be there.
Right.
And also even with your son walking in a fashion show during Fashion Week.
Right.
But there is a level of privacy that I feel like we never see you, you know, in these like gossip rags
Right.
with a whole bunch of mess.
Right.
So how do you protect all of that but still giving people, you know, some insight into your life?
Well, you know, I hear a lot of celebrities say, you know, that, you know, I'm not a role model. That's not what I'm here for. But in a sense, I know there are people that look up to me. So I am a role model, you know, and I don't want to just be out there preaching something that I'm not living. Now, does that mean I don't have a good time? Absolutely not. I was out last night till 6 o'clock in the morning.
What?
At a party. I still have fun, you know, and you can still have fun, but you don't have to be getting dragged out the club and your tracks falling out your head, you know what I mean? But you can still have a good time. So I have a great time, but I'm conscious of the people that look up to me and you know, say, Lala, I want to be like you, and that means something to me.
As a parent, and especially because I think that our early dating, you know, bumps and bruises and trials and errors, luckily didn't have to happen on social media.
Right.
Which is a very different scene than now. So even thinking about, you know, your son growing up, do you already have rules set out or sort of a strategy on how you want to handle the internet?
Yeah, I do. You know, every parent is different. My son is 7 years old, and he's not allowed to have an Instagram. I mean, I think everything comes in due time, and I feel like nowadays we rush kids to grow up so fast that we don't allow them to just be kids.
Yeah.
You know, I want my son to just be a kid and go outside and play basketball and not worry about, you know, image and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but there's no Cayenne Instagram or anything like that. I keep him protected in that way, and I allow him to be a child. When adults are talking, he needs to not be in the room. You know, you go over there, and he knows that, you know.
Yeah, that's an incredible thing because you start to think like, are you doing everything for the gram?
Right.
Or are you just doing them because you actually want to be there?
Right, and it's funny you said that because I was talking to actually my makeup artist yesterday, and she said, you know, just Instagram, it has so many great positives, but she's like, it's ruining so many relationships. And I know you guys can, you know, relate to that. You know, you seeing girls commenting on your man's page, and you're like, who is that? Who is that? You know, and vice versa. I mean, it can really also be a bad thing if you don't manage it in a sense, you know, and you don't want to, like you said, just live for the gram where everything is. I know people that are so addicted, like their whole life is lived through Instagram and reading every comment and who is that and who is she, you know, and you got to get out of that, man. You got to get out here and actually live.
Right. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, Power. Mm-hmm. You guys have watched Power on Stars.
Yeah.
Well, just as a viewer, I'm just wondering whether you can give us a little tidbit about season 2, anything that you can tell us about the upcoming shows.
Well, we're filming it now. We just started about 2 weeks ago, so I'm super excited about that. Thank you. My character has definitely grown this season and has a much bigger role, which I'm excited about. Can I give something away? Yeah, I get myself involved in a lot of mess with some guys and stuff like that, so it gets a little sticky there. It's definitely a season that is just gonna have you like, did that really just happen? Oh my God, I can't believe this. So I'm really, really excited, and thank you to everybody that's been watching Power and loves it. That's so cool.
I think that was kind of a sleeper hit that not a lot of people were expecting, but it's addictive.
We should all clap for Omari Hardwick. Why don't we do that? Exactly. And I get to see him all the time.
And his abs. Okay, so now, you know, I think that it's a perfect show for you to be on, though, because in real life you also are navigating a power hierarchy, which is the reality versus the fiction of being a basketball wife. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I always wanted to ask you is, like, you being sort of the queen bee, a lifer, how do you handle when the new girlfriends come in? Like, is there a vetting process? Can you tell just as soon as you meet them, she's gonna stick around for a while, or I don't think she has the right intentions?
I think you could tell that with anybody. It doesn't have to be like a girlfriend of a basketball player. You could tell that with friends and stuff. But my thing is that, I mean, who am I to judge and vet? If the guy is happy, then that's all that matters. For me, the whole basketball wife thing is tricky. You know, I battle with that title because sometimes I go, you know, I'm not a basketball wife. I'm not a typical basketball wife. But in essence, I am a basketball wife. And it took for Gayle King, you know, Miss Gayle, to sit me down and say, you know, you shouldn't look at it as such a negative title. It is what you are, and I respect my husband, and I want to be a great wife and be there for him, but I also want to have like my own career and do my own thing, which I think is really cool. I think when you bring something to the table, and I say this to all the ladies out there, it just makes you that much more attractive to the man that you're with. It just makes you that much more valuable. And it's something to be said, and I'm not being negative, but it's something to be said that they know that if something went down, you would be okay if you had to walk away.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. That is powerful. So it's just something to think about. And I say, when I say come into a relationship with your own, I mean, everyone is not meant to run a Fortune 500 company. Just have something that's your own, a clothing line, a hobby, something that you're passionate about, so that your whole world doesn't revolve around a man. Like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's interesting because I think that, number one, the term basketball wife was one that was created in a marketing lab.
Right.
To fit a fictional sort of reality life, but it actually also describes your real life.
Right.
The two of those definitions are very, very different.
Very different.
And I think that the other situation is that what you go through and the sort of power, social scale of it all is just an extreme version of what a lot of women go through, right? We all have to deal with having our man, protecting that relationship, also having our guy friends bring new girls in, and we kind of have to, we're looking at them and sizing them up and everything.
Right.
And so those are the things that you're also going through. I'm wondering whether when you have to think about the show, the reality show, and the sort of stigma behind that word, basketball wife, what is the key that you want women to know in terms of don't chase after that, because the actual reality is not that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. The thing is that I was the girl who said I would never date a basketball player. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, someone that's traveling all the time and gone.
Yeah.
And it just happened. And it's funny, like, when you don't go after certain things, how they happen. And in the Love Playbook, I talk about work on yourself. Like, why are we chasing these guys and giving them so much power? When you're great within yourself, you're going to attract so much amazing energy, And I don't need a man to make me feel like I'm worthy or I'm worth it. I don't need that. And my husband, I love him and he compliments me, but I don't need that to feel like, okay, now I've made it, or now my life is where it needs to be. I don't need a man to validate me in that way.
And also, by the way, you compliment and finish him.
Right.
So I think that that's key.
Right.
When we talk about style, and I know that you mentioned, like, when we talk about Instagram, in the book you mentioned that, just like any other woman, Instagram is that thing that you can go through and kind of get outfit inspiration.
Right.
I want to know, who are some of the people that you actually are following
Right.
that you're like, yes, I need this outfit. I want to
Right.
get put together like that.
Well, I'm great to have so many amazing, like, circle of friends and best friends. My two best friends in the whole world is Kelly Rowland and Sierra. So I think they're amazing when it comes to dressing, and they're cool. Kim Kardashian is a very close friend of mine. She's amazing when it comes to dressing. So I have cool influences, around me, but I just do what feels comfortable. Sometimes it's getting super glammed up. Sometimes it's boots because it's raining outside and I just want to be more chill. You got to do what makes you feel good. And it's good to look on Instagram and get inspiration, but be unique to who you are and just do what makes you feel good.
Yeah. And definitely, as a veteran glam girl and a veteran shopper, can you tell us some secrets that you've learned over the years, just in terms of, like, how to do things on a budget?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what I learned, is that it's not about the designer. I've seen girls out here with, like, thrift store stuff, Forever 21, and they are shutting the game down.
Yeah.
It's about the confidence when you wear the clothes that you're like, wait, is that Forever 21? Is that Gucci? Because this is looking hot. It's about the confidence. So they say, don't let the clothes wear you. You wear the clothes, and it's really true. Wear the clothes. I don't care if it's a $3 shirt that you got at a thrift store and you tie it up and you make it look good. Just be confident. And I think that's something I learned. And it's not about designers or labels. It's just about what looks good. Some of my best clothes are like Topshop and H&M and Zara,
Yeah.
and not necessarily these big, huge name brands.
Well, that's the beauty of what they call fast fashion is nowadays we have access, for a much cheaper price to
Yeah.
things, that we never could have had before.
She said, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. But, speaking of that, Lala also has her own line, Fifth and Mercer,
Thank you.
which you can find on Shopbop
Yeah.
and possibly other stores
Yeah.
as well coming up soon. The thing that I think is interesting is as a wife who is very stylish and has very distinct views on style, is active about fashion, what is it like when your husband also has his own fashion stylist?
Right.
Like, what is the dynamic there?
I mean, I don't want to tell him how to dress. I don't want to dictate how he dresses. So I just kind of let him do his thing. Are there some outfits that I'm like, I don't know about that one. Of course, but he's expressing himself and he feels good about it. And I think he dresses really, really well. I think he's
He does
a
great job.
good-looking guy.
Definitely. So it's not a dressing Carmelo by committee. Like,
No.
you don't work with the stylist
No,
at all.
absolutely
No
not.
feedback.
If he asks me, like, babe, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
I'll always give my opinion, but I let him do his thing, I want him to feel good about himself.
And then also I wanted to ask you before, we're actually going to be taking some questions from the audience. You can
Cool.
line up over there. But I
Hi.
wanted to just get a sneak peek into what you have next. I mean, you really already have done so much from beauty to fashion to writing to acting to reality. So what else do you want to accomplish?
Well, acting is really important to me now. So obviously I'm working on the second season of Power. And I also have the second book coming out soon, and it's called The Power Playbook. So it's the next kind of installment from the Love Playbook. And the Power Playbook is just about all of us finding our inner power and what's so great about us and getting to that next level. And me talking about how I started as a kid who was born in the Marcy Projects and made it to, where I am now. So that's going to be an exciting book. And of course, I have the clothing line, Fifth and Mercer. I have the makeup line, Motives for Lala. So it's some really great stuff that I just want to continue to grow and make as great as I can.
Do you ever have free time?
I make free time. You
Okay.
gotta, that's another thing, guys. You can't work all the time. You know what I mean? We get in this thing where it's like life is just about work, work, work. We have to make sure we have time for ourselves and find that time. We also have to make sure we have time away from our kids, too. That is necessary sometimes, because they will drive you crazy.
Is that even solo or couple time?
I think a little bit of both. I think
Okay.
I always need some me time, and I got to a point where I had to not feel bad about that,
Yeah.
not feel bad about getting that me time, and it's something I encourage everyone to do. And I'm not saying you're going spending $1,000 at a spa. It could be 5 minutes in the room with just no noise and just sitting there with yourself, and it's important. It's definitely important.
Okay, so what are some of our questions from the audience?
Hi, Lala.
Hey.
My name is Kay Braun, and I'm a student. My question is, what advice do you have for students who want to pursue more than one thing in entertainment business? Do you suggest that we try to go for all of them early on, all at once, or just choose like one focus?
I think you have to start off by finding the one thing that you're really passionate about, because you can't have your hands in so many things in the beginning. You have to establish yourself in one thing, and I'm a product of the internship program. My career started as an intern, so I always encourage all my high school and college kids to get involved in an internship program. And I know nowadays nobody wants to work for free, but sometimes that's what it takes to really make it to the next level. And myself and Ludacris, who I started my career with, we both came out of an internship program, and we've done pretty good for ourselves. So that's my advice to you. Pick one thing for now. Definitely find an internship in whatever that thing is, and just be as great as you can be. Thank you.
You are a very proud half of one of the proudest couples in professional sports more than anything on this planet. But this summer, your wonderful significant other had a big decision to make.
Right.
And obviously he made the best decision. I'm sure everyone in this room
Go Knicks.
will be very proud of. But
Thank you.
knowing that decision was what could have gone the other way, what went through your mind, if anything, that knowing that maybe you would not have been back in the Big Apple as a family, that maybe you would have had to move to the other aforementioned place, which I won't mention now. Did that weigh on your mind at all? Were you like, you know what, I have to go with the flow, even that meant being away from friends and family?
Yeah, it was definitely a stressful time, but this is where I have to, take away some of my independent spirit and be a supportive wife. I want my husband to be happy, and wherever he was going to be happy, I wanted to support him. So of course, I wanted to come back to New York, but I wanted him to be happy, and I had to understand that, wherever he decided, I would figure out a way, to make it work, and I had to not make it about me and my personal, okay, this place is better for me for these reasons. Like, where is he going to be happy? Because he has to go out on that court every single day and play, and I wanted him to be happy. So I'm glad he did decide to stay in New York, and it's a decision, we made together, and we're excited about it.
Hello. Hey, Lala.
Hey.
We're from Women's Academy of Excellence, and we appreciate everything you're doing as a woman of color.
Thank you.
And we would like to know.
Well, we got a gift for you.
Oh, thank you, guys. So sweet. Thank you.
And we'll be honored and privileged to have you as a keynote speaker as our graduation of
Wow.
June 2015.
That's really awesome. Congratulations.
And continue the sisterhood, because it's my sister keeper.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much. Really proud of what you guys are doing. That's great. Thank you.
Also, very clever way to put her on the spot so that she can't say no.
I won't.
Well, obviously we are so thankful of Lala's time and her insight. I want everybody to make sure, go out, get Love Playbook and the Power Playbook. I can't wait to read that next. And watch you on Stars
Thank you.
and all of that other stuff.
Yeah, and I just want to end it by just saying, thank you guys for having me up here. It's something that is sometimes weird, and I never take it for granted that people actually care about what I have to say and listen to what I have to say. And like, for the women out there, and especially the young women, I talked a little bit about it, but it's so passionate to me to find your own way, and I'm just finding that so many women feel that they have to be validated by a man or a guy, and they go through so much destruction because of that. Like, let's focus on being happy with ourselves and knowing that we are enough and we don't need a man to validate us, That's my message for today, and that's what's speaking on my heart right now. So thank you guys so much for the time, and I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Give it up for Lala Anthony, everybody.